Welcome everyone to the Everything Show. I am your host, Matrixlord212, and I'm with Chris. What's up, Chris?
What's up, guys?
All right, so I like you saw the article the other day about Ridley Scott talking about the Alien franchise in general. And you want to elaborate on your take on it and explain to the viewers what he was actually talking about?
Well, basically, he was saying, something, and I actually saw this article today, but basically, he was saying that he thinks that the franchise is running out of steam,
Right.
and that potentially, if another one is made, it may not focus on the xenomorphs,
Why?
which, you know,
Why isn't he taking blame for taking the attention away from them and trying to build this whole stupid David the robot invents the universe type of thing?
because I really don't think, and this is his opinion, but and maybe I'm wrong, I don't know, but I don't think he thinks he's doing something wrong. I think he's telling the story that he wants to tell, and just because people don't like it, I don't want to say he doesn't care, but this is the story that he wants to tell. So the point of Prometheus and Alien Covenant, well, I should say the point of Prometheus and the point of Alien Covenant before people said they wanted to see the xenomorphs, the point of those two movies was really not to be about the xenomorphs. It was about to be what made the xenomorphs, what came like before that.
Right.
And that's really what Prometheus was about. So the reason that they're not focusing on the xenomorphs, or he's maybe not going to focus on the xenomorphs in the next one, has to do with him trying to stick to what he originally set out to do with these movies. Alien Covenant was a mess because he tried to do that and incorporate the xenomorph, because Fox and everybody who saw the movie said, I want to see the xenomorph. Now, when I saw Prometheus, and I know a lot of other people felt the same way, I didn't want to see the xenomorph.
Correct.
In fact, I didn't want the xenomorph to be mentioned at all.
Correct. I really thought we were going to go in a completely different direction, a spin-off,
right,
different creatures, different, ETs, whatever the hell, aliens, whatever things they are, and
like I was saying, I was perfectly happy if they were going to focus on the space jockeys, which was what they were called at the time, at least as far as I think they also had a different name like Malakok or something like that. But
right.
I was like, okay, I kind of want to see what these quote unquote engineers do, and what's their purpose. But then when I heard, oh yeah, we're going in another direction and the aliens are here, I was like, uh-oh.
But did they really force him, or he decided to incorporate the alien into the movie himself as a decision for him? Because you remember, he put a stop to Neil Blomkamp from doing Alien 5. He waved his title around that he did The Martian, and he says that he wants to do another Alien movie. So now, I mean, we're trying to formulate, like, what really is going down. But I remember the history where if he really didn't want to incorporate the xenomorphs and he's trying to blame, 20th Century Fox, he's the one that stopped someone from doing Aliens in the first place, another Alien movie, because he couldn't let it go.
So I'm going to be honest with you. I really don't think he had much to do with that. Because if you know kind of the backstory about what kind of happened with that, it was more so to do with Neil Blomkamp's film history.
That wasn't just a success. Like,
it wasn't good. His film history right now is not necessarily on the positive side.
Okay.
And I think Ridley Scott had something to do with it, because I think if he would have said, yeah, I'm not going to make another one, then Fox would have been like, hey, you're going to do Alien 5 or whatever it's going to be called. But I think because Prometheus was mildly successful and they had this idea that, oh, Alien Covenant's going to have the xenomorph and it's going to be huge.
Right.
They wanted to focus on that. So, and I know also that there were some concepts for Prometheus where they were going to have I think it was going to be called an ultramorph.
Okay.
And it was going to be one of the main creatures in the movie, but then that got scrapped and we got the Deacon that showed up at the end of Prometheus. So, like I said, I think having the Deacon in that movie really confused people, because people were like, is this like the first xenomorph?
Yes, it totally
but
confused
it's
the
not.
crap out of everybody.
It's like,
right.
Yeah, it's really weird.
So now you're saying you're not blaming Ridley Scott at all. You're saying that it's like really mostly the movie.
Oh no, I don't like his story, and he
Right.
came up with that story. My thing is, I respect the fact that this is the story he wants to tell, and he's not really letting a lot of people say we don't like this story. He's telling it anyway.
Right.
My problem is this: the story he's telling now, infringing on the original story, which was far superior.
Right.
So now we now have a canon series where David created the xenomorphs. That's not going to go away.
But here's the thing. A problem I have with that now. It seems to me that these movie companies are getting very loosely with the notion of multi-universe theory, and when plagued with some controversy when they were talking with John Carpenter with the new Halloween movie he's doing, they just basically said, rather than to deal with the fallout and people getting pissed that they're erasing Halloween 2 on, that it's just another universe. It's not the original Halloween universe. So couldn't they say the same for the Alien universe now, that this is just another universe and it's not the main Alien universe?
They could, but I'll do you one better. There's an easy way to fix this. So easy that it would take like less than 10 seconds in the next movie. They go into an engineer. I almost said predator. They go into an engineer lab. The xenomorph eggs are there. They made them. That's it. And then you say David tried to replicate them.
Okay.
That's how I would do it, because in the book for Alien Covenant, that's exactly what they did. They said that David didn't create them, that the engineers created them.
Well, I mean, couldn't they just say that all this stuff is in his head? He was never attached to a new body, and Shaw just made him believe that he's doing all these things, but it's just his mind creating the whole.
I think that would be an interesting twist for the next movie, but I think the likelihood of that happening is very low.
Because I just think that they ruined the whole Prometheus universe, or franchise of potential. And I think by doing that, he also ruined the Alien thing, which, again, anything is fixable. Okay, as we've seen, if they don't know how to explain it, they just reboot it, or they just, whatever, they redo things or something. In this case, there was no reason, like you said, to change the original history of Alien, but they did it anyway. But that doesn't mean that it's out of steam or out of fuel or done. They could just wipe the last one. I mean, I think, in a way that it's just, oh, he's just crazy. He's just a head hooked up to a computer, and you could have Shaw appear in another movie or something. But again, is he that stubborn that he just wants to continually talk about David the movie, and just, it's not even like the engineers or the xenomorphs, it's just David, David, David? I mean, I don't get where I don't really understand the end game with him, because he changes, I got to tell you, he changes his opinion too much for me to actually understand what he actually is trying to accomplish. Because didn't he say he wanted 6 Alien movies?
I remember he said he wanted something like that, yeah.
And then when Blade Runner was coming out, didn't he say he wanted to do multiple Blade Runner movies?
He said something along the lines that he wanted to possibly make it a franchise.
And then now that he can't make it a franchise, and now he can't even make an Alien a franchise, like he just, oh, they're out of steam, but let me do Prometheus 3? Is that what he's trying to do? Or Prometheus 2? Is that...
Well, this is my thing. I agree with him when he says that it's out of steam. But it's not because people are tired of the alien creature or the idea. It's because these last few movies just haven't been good. Like, when you really think about it, like, the last good Alien movie was Aliens.
Yes.
I mean, I like Alien 3, but not a lot of people don't.
I hated Alien 3.
So if you look at that, you have Alien 3, hated. Alien Resurrection, really hated.
Right.
AVP, hated by a majority of people. AVPR was an absolute disaster.
Right.
And you have Prometheus, which is like, okay. And then you have Alien Covenant, which is majority of people hate that. Not to mention, you have the video game Aliens Colonial Marines, which was hyped up beyond belief, which was a disaster on opening day.
But wasn't there another Alien game like Isolation or something?
Isolation was good, yeah. But this franchise is in a very bad place right now across multiple forms of media.
So why don't they just do this? Why don't he forget his nonsense? Why don't he just go with Neil Blomkamp's idea? Let Neil Blomkamp put his concept about bringing back Ripley and all that. Why don't they work together and then just go with what worked before, like with Ripley, and just wipe out Alien 3, Alien 4, Alien AVP, wipe that whole thing from existence, and forget about Prometheus, and don't even talk about it, and just continue. Why can't he just? Because this is what a lot of people are doing. They're going back to what they're comfortable with. Like now, they're going to do a Lethal Weapon 5. Yes, they have Lethal Weapon on TV, but they're like, you know what? Everything old is new again. People will go crazy. Doesn't matter how old they are. Just like Jamie Lee Curtis is going to be running around with Michael Myers, and like people are just losing their shit because they're like, this is the greatest thing ever, you know. And Robert Englund came out and said, look, I'm too old to be Freddy, so don't even ask me. I can't even move anymore. Like whatever. But people are just like, they want nostalgia. They want like retro. They want connection to the original series that they're willing to the hell with it. I mean, just look at how, you know, we got Harrison Ford as Han Solo. Now they want him to be Indiana Jones at age 77, 78, or 79. They don't care what his age is. So why don't we just go back to that with Alien? Do you think that's a bad idea?
No, I think it's the only idea that can work now. And this is the thing. It's the word nostalgia gets thrown around a lot, and I think it gets thrown around a little bit too much, because if you're telling a new story with old characters, yeah, there's some nostalgia in that, but usually you're telling a new story with them, and that's what people want to see. You know what I'm saying? It's the same idea like you hear TV shows coming back that you loved in the past, but none of the characters you liked are in this show. You know? So immediately you're going in with like, now it could turn out to be good, but this is the model that I like to use, and I know immediately that there's going to be counter arguments to this because, you know, it's just a rehash. But think about it this way. If The Force Awakens came out and none of the old characters are in that movie, it fails immediately.
Well, that's what the original script was going to mostly focus on new characters and very, very, very little on the older
I mean, like, not at all. Like, they're not mentioned. They're not there.
Oh, it would have failed.
Like, there you go.
Yeah, that would have failed.
And that's kind of where we are with Prometheus and with Alien Covenant, because, and this is, again, I've said this, I've been saying this for a while, and I'm not the only one who says it. This story did not have to be connected to Alien. They could have made a whole new universe, and I guarantee you it probably would have been better. Right.
They also had some resistance with China where they did not want to show the xenomorph. I don't know what the hell they showed.
Yeah, they edited the movie.
And it probably was a damn disaster what they had shown originally anyway.
I heard it was actually better.
It was better?
It was better because you didn't see the xenomorph doing these like ridiculous things that it did in Covenant.
Oh, wow.
Because that was one of the main complaints, is that if you look at the way the xenomorph in Alien, and I know that they're two different species, but if you look at or two different versions of the species, but if you look at the way the xenomorph moved around in Alien and you compare it to what it was doing in Covenant, if it was doing what it did in Covenant, the entire crew of the Nostromo would have been dead in an hour.
Right. Right.
Like, even faster than they were in the movie.
Right. They don't get it. They just make them too unstoppable. Even like the Terminator after a while was like, give me a break.
Those three franchises, Alien, Terminator, and Predator, are not in a good place right now.
No.
All three of them.
No. With Predator, they should have put Arnold Schwarzenegger as the main thing in the movie. They should have did like he's been training people for decades. They've been monitoring. They're all trained. They're ready to go. They found some weapons. They found this, and they should have been like, it should have been completely different animal, but they're not. And that's, and the guy originally said, yeah, we're going to get our Schwarzenegger and everything, and all that was bull crap. And that's what I think is the problem, is that people are going to go to the Predator thinking they're going to see something familiar, and then they're not. I'm not crazy about this. I mean, I don't even know what to think of this movie. I mean, I just watched the original Predator again for the zillionth time, like I told you.
Mm-hmm.
And it was great. What a great movie. Mm-hmm. But, all the other ones, not as great. And it's just, I don't know, man. They're ruining these movies. Totally. Terminator, Predator, Alien. I mean, what else? What else are they going to do to some of these things,
I honestly think, and I really don't want to say this because, I like these 3 series, but I think it's time for them to take a break for a while. I'm getting to the point where I don't want to see another Alien movie for like the next 10 years.
I mean, Predator was the next to go, just doing something new, and, it's not even out yet, and already we're hearing nonsense.
See, I liked Predators too. I mean, I thought that was pretty good. It wasn't perfect. Yeah. It wasn't perfect, but right. I like it. It's they did some new things, but they kept the idea. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It was, like I said, Adrian Brody is the main action star, but
wasn't really
at least I was interested in the story. I was like, okay, this is kind of cool. It's pretty simple, but hey, maybe that's the key. Maybe simplicity is the key for these movies.
Look, you go back in the jungle, and they're just, they're dealing with whatever, and it's just, I mean, it's not like, I never understood, even remember when we were talking about it many times with Paramount. Paramount got a gift. They could have done Friday the 13th after all these years, right?
Yeah.
They purely make profit from it. I mean, you don't spend a lot. It's a horror movie, not rocket science. You could pop out one every year. They had it for a couple of years. They could have popped out 3, right?
Mm-hmm.
All of a sudden, they get this guy that, oh my God, what's his motivation? And they're starting to think really stupid, like artistic. Oh, I'm going to do something that's never been done. Before you knew it, they waste so much time that a lawsuit hits or something. They're ready to go into production, and they just stop everything. Now they just totally lost an opportunity to do a movie. And the good thing is we find out after that this got scrapped that it's a good thing that they didn't do their movie. Because in their movie, they had to be the one to kill Jason for good, because they knew it was going back to Warner Brothers, which owns New Line Cinema, and they wanted to screw them over and make it where they couldn't even make a sequel the way they ended it. They were going to explain everything on how he kept coming back, and they're going to have family members, and it was going to be called The Death of Jason Voorhees, which would have been the worst thing ever. Just take the character, make money from him, and give it back. But no, these people have egos and have to do stupid crap like that. So you know what? They lost it. And it's a good thing they lost it. A good damn thing. And then you got this other guy that we were talking about this a little bit, running his mouth on, was it on Bloody Disgusting? The guy that, what was he? He did Jason Goes to Hell?
Oh, yeah, this was hilarious, yeah.
And the guy's like, oh, he's a Jedi, and I put the Necronomicon in there, and it's the same thing as, look, first of all, I am a huge fan of Friday the 13th, okay? The way I see it, 1 through 8 is canon, right? They bought the character from Paramount Pictures. Immediately, they couldn't even call it Friday the 13th at first. And then they had to change his mask. So if you're starting to do all these different things, it's not the same character. Okay? You're starting to make away hops and bodies. You lost me. It's done. Okay? Then they're not comfortable with that way that's going. They wipe that. Then they put him in space. That doesn't work either. Then they says, well, let's just make him fight Freddy. Now that I like that, okay, but they just lose you because then they make it where it's and they just decide to do a reboot then, and the reboot was horrible. I don't like the reboot at all. Hate it. So I mean, it just I don't know what to say anymore. This guy's trying to. I don't know if this guy's trying to get hype for his name so he could do stuff, but I didn't hear anything about any of the people from like Evil Dead that's saying, yeah, that's true and all that other stuff. And I mean, did they say anything about them? Did they ask like Bruce
I don't know.
Campbell?
Yeah, I don't know if they've asked like Campbell or anybody like that's in charge of like I guess the story and the creative
Yeah,
stuff for Evil Dead. I know that this guy is really trying to push to be like, oh yeah, it's canon. Oh
it's
yeah.
not canon. No.
And I'm like,
First,
how can you write the canon for Evil Dead? Like,
well, let me ask you a question. It's not the same company, is it?
I don't even know, to be honest with you.
Because technically, there could be lawsuits galore if the Necronomicon is actually the Necronomicon from Evil Dead. It was used like he just tricked everybody. They didn't even know they put it in there, and he did it for spite, like a fanboy. And then when the company really finds out, they sue the crap out of each other. I really don't think they knew what he was doing. Tell you the truth.
Unless he got permission to do it as like an Easter egg or something, which
Maybe.
is really all I think it is. I think it's just an Easter egg, and then he was like, "Oh yeah, it's
First of all, Jason lived in a shack, and then next thing you know, he has this mansion house. That's like, what the hell is that?
Yeah,
I don't understand it. And then now all of a sudden his family's with voodoo and weird and spells and shit. Okay. No, I don't believe it. And just like the mystical blade from the 1800s that only could kill Voorhees. Well, geez, I didn't think Jason Voorhees was around in the 1800s, and let alone have a sister or anything else.
That was like an old pappy, like.
Yeah, by Voorhees, he was born. By Voorhees, he would die. I was like, what are you talking about?
Yeah, that's hilarious. I didn't even see that movie, and it sounds hilarious.
Yeah, so it was just, it was beyond ridiculous. And this guy is just probably, I bet you he's doing a movie, and he just wants people to see his movie, so he's just trying to throw it out there. Didn't get permission from anybody to say it. He's saying it on his own. It's not canon. It's not canon. Jason's not a zombie. Jason's not a Deadite. Everybody's oh, see, I was right. He's a zombie. Oh, he's a Deadite. No, he's not. No.
Well, I mean, we gotta hope anyway that that's not the case.
It's not the case.
Because with the way things are with movies today, I mean, we could wake up tomorrow and there can be an article out there.
Ash versus Jason. Right. They could do Ash versus
honestly,
Jason.
that'd be kind of cool, but
that would be actually. But
I wouldn't be mad about that if it was done well.
Yeah, but not that he's a Deadite. That's something else entirely.
Well, I mean, they did that comic book where he was in there. Where it was Jason versus Freddy versus Ash.
Yeah.
But he wasn't a Deadite in that.
Right.
That was actually kind of interesting, that comic book, too.
I never read that. It was good?
Yeah, because, well, I mean, I don't want to spoil it for you, but, like...
Get spoiled, doesn't matter.
Okay, well, it takes place, if I remember correctly, it takes place after Freddy versus Jason.
Okay.
And, Jason has Freddy's head in his, in his shack in the camp, and, Freddy's obviously still alive. And, he tricks Jason into getting the Necronomicon for him so that he can get his body back. And then Ash is like, the fuck's going on? And then it's actually pretty interesting. It's off the wall, but, it's like the good kind of off the wall. Because you're dealing with characters that are off the wall. So it's like...
Well, I don't think that would ever happen. I mean, just killed Freddy, and now he's ahead to trick him into getting the book. I mean, Jason would just chop his head into a million pieces. Probably.
Well, he did it some way where it's like, because Jason's not that smart, so it's like he force mind tricked him.
Oh, okay. Did some weird stuff. Oh, yeah. Don't go get that book because
It was something weird like that.
Yeah. Okay.
Ash even wound up in the Marvel universe, and he fought the Marvel zombies.
Yeah, I heard about that.
Yeah.
That was interesting. That's actually pretty cool. But they'll never do a movie about that.
No way.
That's what they said. Never.
Nor should they.
No, because people get traumatized if they see a Spider-Man with worms coming out of his eye, and oh no, that would never happen. Unless Disney's going bankrupt, then they would do it. But
No. If Disney's going bankrupt, that's when they do the Star Wars versus Marvel crossover.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's when the world ends, when Disney goes. Because if Disney goes bankrupt, then there's no hope for anybody.
Yeah. Could you
Having
imagine
all
that?
those top franchises. I mean,
The year is 2093. Disney has gone bankrupt.
I mean, you think about the balls that they have in now with The Last Jedi. They're telling them that they want to make 65% of the movie gross. And they're trying to force them to put them in 4 theaters. And if they don't, they're not going to be able to show any. Oh, my God. What is happening? Greed is horrible. Some people are telling them no, though.
The mouse, man, I'm telling you.
Some people are telling the mouse no. And, they're like giving them, you know what? Screw you. And it's like, wow. Because you know what? I mean, just because you're big doesn't mean they want to get bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger. It's just going to be too much. And what happens when it gets too big, something's going to pop like a balloon. And that's going to be the end of it. They're going to stop a whole bunch of stuff. So I really think that they need to cool it. Don't try to be. That's like we talk about Coca-Cola, as a sponsor now, like altering movies, like because they can. Because they're a sponsor. It's like, wow. Just so soda. It's like ridiculous.
Yeah, right.
Now Coca-Cola is responsible for Grease being rated G. It's like, okay, it changes the words to make no sense.
Oh, what's kind of funny, too? I mean, they did this last year, or I'm sorry, they did this in, around the time The Force Awakens was coming out. But I was in Walmart a couple of days ago, or it might have been like a week ago.
Yeah.
Excuse me. And I saw The Last Jedi and a picture of Rey on a bag of grapes.
Oh my God.
And I was like, wow.
What does that have to do with grapes?
Well, I mean, the year before, I keep saying the year before, but when The Force Awakens was coming out, I saw BB-8 on a netted bag of clementines.
Oh my God.
And I was like, okay, that's kind of clever because they're orange and they're shaped like a ball and, BB-8. But grapes, I was like, wow.
Next thing you're going to see is a tire iron that's like a lightsaber or something when they're going to change the tire for a car, like the jack. It's going to be like a lightsaber that glows and shit. And then it's going to be a Star Wars logo on it. Damn it. Unbelievable. Talk about marketing that makes absolutely no sense. Are you going to go see Thor?
I am, yes.
Okay. I'm not. Here's the thing. Scott saw it.
Mm-hmm.
He said it was good, but it wasn't great. He wasn't crazy about it. My son Joe saw it. He said it was good. The same thing. And I'm like, oh, no.
Well, I'll tell you what. My friend Tyler saw it a couple of days ago, and he said it was, absolutely amazing.
Okay.
So,
I got stuck with doing something on the weekend, so I can't see it, but I'm probably going to see it during the week.
Mm-hmm.
But again, I mean, it's a comedy. I mean, that's what it's going to be. I mean, I'm not expecting it to be anything else.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it looks good to me. We'll see. But Wonder Woman finally beat Spider-Man by like $50. Remember how they had that article and they prematurely said that it was a #1 origin movie? And meanwhile, I was like, no, it wasn't. Yeah, I think she beat him by $50. Really the slimmest thing I've ever seen. But okay. Congratulations, Wonder Woman, with the origin.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Interesting.
I know. Very interesting. What else I want to talk about? What do you think's happening with the Venom thing? I mean,
there's pictures of Eddie Brock online of Tom Hardy there, and this is my thing. Like, the only reactions I saw, people were like, "Oh my gosh, this movie's gonna suck," and I was like, "How can you tell that from the pictures?"
You can't.
You know what I'm saying? Like I know we were kind of down on the movie, but here's my thing. I like Tom Hardy.
Oh yeah.
So I'm willing to give it a shot as long as the trailers and stuff are okay.
Yeah, me too.
What I liked about these trailers is that he's not the Topher Grace Eddie Brock.
He's a bit buff, right?
Looks like he's working out and stuff. So it's like, okay, this is familiar.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, I gotta see the marketing because I love Venom. So, I want to see what they do with him.
I got to tell you, talking now about Spider-Man comics, we have the Spectacular Spider-Man. Just came back into circulation, like they brought it back. So it's a new volume, and I think it's up to issue 6. And they just did something shocking in the latest issue. So spoilers, if you don't want to hear what happens in the new Spectacular Spider-Man, don't watch this next part. Ready? 3, 2, 1. So Spider-Man revealed his secret identity to J. Jonah Jameson. And
But
I'm
why?
like, what the hell is going on?
What the fuzz?
Now, I because there was a lot. It was connected with the storylines that they had recently, and his dad died. J. Jonah Jameson's dad, who was married to Aunt May, which I never got it that they were stepbrothers. That made no sense to me. I didn't like that. They had the whole clone conspiracy thing that the Jackal, which was Ben Reilly and whatever. Anyway, and then there was the real Jackal. Whatever. One of the Jackals they brought back. Well, it was actually Ben Reilly. Brought back J. Jonah Jameson's wife because she was dead, and then he brought back all these key characters, and then she died again. Like, they all died again. They were clones, So he felt that J. Jonah Jameson went through enough, and he had an interview with him, and he just wanted to. He felt the only way that could ever get through to him, because Peter Parker's life is in the toilet right now, to save the world. Doc Ock wanted his company back. That basically, when he body swapped, he finished Peter Parker's college credits, and he built a company. Now Peter Parker stole it, kind of. So rather than Doc Ock seizing control of the company that he created as Spider-Man, Peter Parker basically erased all the things and basically imploded the company to save the world against Doc Ock. But he didn't realize that he just destroyed the economy, because he's like the richest person in the world and a billionaire, that he basically made everybody unemployed. And everybody hates Peter Parker, but they love Spider-Man now. So, and Spider-Man was the bodyguard, but Spider-Man, of course, they had played a role like Spider-Man dumped him or whatever. And so J. Jonah Jameson was going through a lot, and he just felt, I guess, that was everything was falling apart in his life anyway, Peter Parker, and he said, let me just fix his by revealing my secret identity, which I don't even know what's going to happen now, because that was like the shocking thing, But they were saying on these sites, which makes no sense to me, that the moment that J. Jonah Jameson remembered that Peter Parker was Spider-Man, because remember Civil War, he revealed it to everybody? He unmasked himself, and then Mephisto had the spell to basically erase. They said the spell's broken, but the thing is, it's not a simple spell. I mean, the entire universe has changed. Like, they went back in time and they relived their lives and did things differently. So then you're saying that they're still married, Peter Parker and Mary Jane. It's like weird. It's like it's not just a thing with the spell, but they're like, I'm Bleeding Cool, they were talking about it. I'm like, I don't understand that. We have to find out. I don't know what's going on, but
that could be interesting, though. I mean, somehow and maintain
that they really are married, and it's just like nobody knows that they're married, and not even them, or whatever. That's weird. Like, Mephisto really isn't that powerful to change the timeline. It's just, I mean, he never really was. So I don't know. And that's not even by Dan Slott. That's by somebody else. That's Spectacular Spider-Man. So I got to see what that's about. But yeah, that's what's going on in the comics, and of course we got the Marvel Legacy, which a lot of crazy stuff's going on with that thing. What else? Have you seen anything in the movies lately, or watched any TV?
I mean, not really. I mean, mostly now I just watch a couple of shows. Not so much with TV. Mostly WWE stuff. I'm a Dragon Ball Super guy, so I mean, I've been keeping up with that. And recently, that's been like a paradox, because it's been like both really good and really bad at the same time.
Oh my god! Wow.
But like the animation, has been top notch these past few episodes. Like some of the best animation I've ever seen. Me personally, But like they've got these two new characters, in the show that are just like they've been focusing on them this past 2 episodes.
Okay.
And they just did, pardon my language, but they're just fucking everything up.
Wow.
Like it's like everything. They're because in the show the characters they transform to get more powerful.
Okay.
Usually it requires a certain amount of training and like mental effort and whatnot to understand and master these forms.
Right.
And even if we just achieve them. And these 2 characters are just like they're pulling forms out of their ass. Like it's just like, oh yeah, I can do this.
Oh my
and
God.
I can do this. And now I can do that, and it's just like I'd be okay with that, but it's like now they're fighting the more powerful characters, and they're somehow staying on par with them, and it's like, what the fuck is going on? Like what? Pardon my language.
So they're
like,
kind of ruining
crazy.
it, right?
It's just insanity. Well, it's just on their end because everything else, in my opinion, has actually been pretty damn good.
Oh.
So whenever they're not focusing on those 2 characters, it's a great show. It's a treat to watch.
Okay.
But these 2 characters, anytime they're on screen, it's like, how can they do that? Like, what? How are they able to do that? How are they? Like, for example, the main character Goku is at like super mega ultra powerful levels now, like literally, and somehow they're keeping up with him, and they were just introduced into the show. Now, I know he's holding back, but even at that, like, he's so strong now that even holding back, he should still be able to kick their asses in like 2 seconds. And yet they're still keeping up with them somehow.
Wow.
So I don't even know. And then they've got this other fight in the background. Vegeta is fighting this other character he's kind of new, but he's not bad.
Okay.
And everyone, including myself, is like, I want to see that fight. Because that's actually pretty cool. And it's just like happening in the background.
Oh, wow.
And it's like, come on.
That's ridiculous.
But, I mean, it's still, I like it. I know a lot of people don't like it.
Well, you like it. Now, what do you think's going on with the Godzilla thing? Is that going to go in the wrong direction, the animated film?
I had to tell you, that last trailer was pretty good.
Yeah, I liked it too.
I liked it a lot. And
yeah.
I don't know. Like, this Godzilla, the design is weird because from some angles it looks really bad.
Yeah.
But from other angles it looks amazing.
Right.
So, I don't know. I don't know
this
how
is the first of 3, right?
Allegedly, yeah.
Okay.
That actually comes out in Japan in like 2 weeks.
Wow. And then we'll get it when? January?
Probably the beginning of next year.
Okay. And they're still doing a Shin Gojira 2, bless you. Still doing a Shin Gojira 2, right?
I believe they're in the process of planning it right now, but they can't release anything until after Godzilla vs. Kong. So.
And we believe that MonsterVerse is also going to continue.
Well, what's interesting about that is, and I'm glad you brought it up because we got word from one of the producers at Legendary that they are not going to do a crossover with Pacific Rim.
Okay.
They said no, but apparently something's going to happen in Pacific Rim that they said is going to shock all of us.
Shock us?
Yeah.
Connected with Godzilla?
No. So I don't know what they're talking about.
They're not going to have like Cloverfield in Pacific Rim, right?
I don't think they can, no.
What the hell could shock us with Pacific Rim?
Got me.
I mean, it's just to get us to go see Pacific Rim 2, right?
Well, I mean, they could be doing that, but I don't know. Stranger things have happened, Yeah,
I know.
I mean, who knows? But yeah, they said they're definitely not crossing it over with Godzilla, so.
Okay.
There goes that.
But they didn't say anything about after Godzilla vs. Kong.
Yeah, no. As of right now, that's still the end game of the MonsterVerse. But
okay.
I personally think it's going to continue.
Right.
Somehow.
Me too. But then also the other universe, Dark Universe, looks like it's done before it even began, right? I mean,
potentially, yeah.
Kind of canceled Bride of Frankenstein. As far as the Invisible Man goes, I don't think Johnny Depp is filming that yet, and I don't know what else they're doing. Because wasn't Bride supposed to be next?
Yes.
So there is no Dark Universe right now, I guess.
It's basically in like pause mode right now.
Yeah. Which goes to now we talking about pause mode. Justice League's coming out soon.
In 2 weeks, yeah.
And we heard that there's a halt. Wait to see what it does before we get a Flashpoint movie.
Mm-hmm.
So now, what is going to continue and what's not? What is definitely going to happen, Chris? I mean, we're definitely getting an Aquaman movie, right?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
We're definitely getting a Wonder Woman 2.
Mm-hmm.
But aside from those two,
Shazam is definitely happening.
and Black Manta, right? Or whatever the hell, right?
Black Adam, yeah.
Black Adam, whatever the hell it is. Okay.
Well, we don't know about that right now. As far as I know, that's still.
So 3 movies, and they're spaced out, aren't they? Aren't they like?
Here's my thing. Flashpoint is definitely going to happen because Justice League is going to do well, no matter how good or bad the movie is. People are going to go see that. It's going to make a lot of money. They're going to be happy with how much it makes, and they're going to make Flashpoint.
But Zack Snyder's done.
Yeah, as far as I know. Mm-hmm.
Period.
I don't know what the level is, but I'm pretty sure he's not making any more movies with that.
Not even Wonder Woman 2 or nothing. He's not even going to be a part of it.
Yeah, I don't think so.
Okay.
He might be a producer here and there, but
now is he doing the Watchmen HBO thing or not?
I don't even know. I haven't heard anything about that, to be honest with you.
Because they're going ahead with that. And that's interesting.
Speaking of series, we might be getting a Lord of the Rings series on Amazon.
We talked about this today.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm you know what? Honestly, with Game of Thrones leaving soon, that could be the top thing. Honestly, if they do it right, that could be a top show.
My question is this, though. Is this going to be are we getting the story of Frodo again? Or is this going to be like a spinoff?
Are they allowed to do a spinoff? Because I heard, wasn't Peter Jackson trying to do other stuff and then the family of the creators say no?
I don't know.
So I don't know.
Those video games are spinoffs of the story.
Yeah, but they allowed that though.
Well, they're more so like prequels, I guess. But yeah.
Okay.
I don't know. They could. You know what it might be? It might be just something totally new, like a completely new story in between the time period of The Hobbit and Lord of the Rings, or before, because the Silmarillion is out there. That book is out there. They're not going to make that a movie, so maybe they take stories from there. Who knows?
That's crazy.
They could do a lot because the Lord of the Rings, way bigger than a lot of people think.
Okay.
It goes really deep into things. So I mean, it could be a story about Sauron for all we know, like his younger days, which I really hope they don't do. But
it's exciting. I mean, it's exciting news that they're doing something with that. That's good.
Yeah, if it happens, I'll be interested to see what it is.
If we could jump into Star Wars Last Jedi for a second.
Sure.
A lot of these news sites are trying to promote that possibly Rey turns, and we've talked about this, a possible double turn, right?
You don't know how much I hope she does. Oh, yeah. I would walk out of that theater with such a big smile on my face.
Right.
Hopefully.
So, would it be possible that she turns, but then he turns at the same time?
That's exactly what I hope happens.
So, he tries to stop her?
In 9, potentially.
Okay. So she's just evil. That's it. She's like Snoke's apprentice, and that's it.
Well, there's 2 things that I would like to see personally as the climax of this trilogy.
Right.
Either in 8, Rey turns to the dark side.
Right.
Ren does a turn sort of to the light. I'm not going to say that he's going to be like good guy Ben Solo, but he realizes that he has to stop or has to help stop Snoke and Rey, and he helps turn her back. That's path 1, and they defeat Snoke together. Personally, what I wouldn't mind seeing, and I've been thinking about this for the past few weeks or so, the past 2 weeks or so, I wouldn't mind if Kylo Ren stays a villain and becomes the main villain in the next trilogy.
Right. You want to know what I think?
The top one.
I think that whatever's going to happen in the movie, which we're not really sure, I think that the shocking moment is going to be that she's going to turn on Luke Skywalker.
That's what I think is going to happen too.
And she's going to, and this is what I think is going to happen. I think that she's going to kill him, try to kill him, and that's when Kylo Ren hits the lightsaber to block her from killing him. Something happens, she goes off or whatever, and when he reaches out his hand in that trailer, it's to Luke Skywalker, not Rey.
That's possible because that scene with Rey and Ren, that is not the same scene.
I think Kylo Ren's reaching out the hands to Luke for forgiveness because he didn't kill his mother in this movie. Possibly he just realizes this is not for me. This was a mistake, and then he saves Luke. And now Luke and him together with Finn and everybody, which I don't know how Finn would go with him, with Kylo Ren, but it's going to happen like that.
It's possible.
I think that's what's going to happen.
You know what's interesting? I don't know if you saw the TV spot that came out, the one called Awake.
With the Millennium Falcon go on with Luke in there? Yeah, I saw that.
At the end of that TV spot, I think it was a TV spot, but at the end there, it looks like Rey is about to attack Luke.
Yeah, I know. So that's what I think's happening. I think Kylo Ren's going to save Luke. I think Rey's going to turn, and it's going to be a shocking thing, like an Empire type of thing.
I think that's very possible because I think what might happen is Rey goes to confront Snoke, and obviously she's not going to beat him. And
well, you see her like The Exorcist, like her in the air, like, and I think that's it. He completes whatever he does to her, and then she just goes and kills Luke.
Well, this is what I think is going to happen. I think he's going to do exactly what you just said. I think he's going to screw with her mind, right, and she's going to turn. Because it is possible to turn somebody who's force sensitive by causing them enough pain.
Yes.
So I think that's going to happen, and he's going to be like, "Oh, she's even stronger than Kylo Ren," and he's gonna like do away with Kylo Ren, and that's going to be Ren's, well, now I've got to stop them kind of thing. And personally, what I hope happens, either he turns to the light, which I don't think is going to happen anymore. So I think it's still possible. But personally, I hope that at the end of this trilogy, he goes off and he's like, now it's going to be my first order.
I don't think he's going to stay evil. I think he's going to be pure good at the end of this one. I think that's going to cause conflict in the next movie because he's going to have to interact with Chewbacca and all of them, and it's going to be weird because he killed Han. I think they're gonna bounce off that, and that's what they're going to do.
That's possible. I think that is possible, but I think he's gonna with the reaction that go ahead.
I think that she's gonna go off with Snoke, and he's gonna fly the Millennium Falcon.
It's possible
because it was his dad's ship, and I think that's what's gonna happen.
I think the reaction that people have to him, I don't see a lot of the fan base accepting him turning to the light.
And and I think they're gonna explain it away that he wasn't really himself, that he did that, he's really good, he was possessed by Snoke, and that's how they're going to explain it away. And that they're going to accept him fully as a good guy.
I'd be okay with that, but personally, I'd rather see him go off as the next villain for the next trilogy. I
could see her dressed all weird, some type of weird thing for the next one, because you remember, right after Hurricane Sandy, they had announced that they bought Star Wars, and it was like this brief thing that appeared, that leaked, and it was 7, 8, 9, and 10, 11, and 12, and they originally said that the villain was going to be a female. Originally said that before it got deleted, and that she wants to, whatever at the time. So, I don't know. I mean, obviously that would be amazing if that was the case, but we'll find out.
I'm telling you, the way to end 8 is one of the ways to end 8. You see Snoke sitting there. He's talking. And he says, "We have a lot of work to do or something, my apprentice." Camera pans over. There's Rey dressed in black.
But you already know she's apprentice, right? Because she's going to turn on Luke, probably.
Yeah. But I mean, that's the way to end it.
That's what's going to happen.
I mean, that would be. Could you imagine? It goes to black.
People will lose it. People lose their crap.
That automatically sells episode 9.
Done.
Automatically.
And just thinking the fact that Kylo Ren's in the Millennium Falcon with Chewbacca, all that, and just that whole thing, it's going to be ridiculous. You know? Just how he would interact with Finn, too, that would be, you know, that's going to be something to see. But then Phasma, is Phasma going to die in this one, or is she going to be in the next one? We don't know that. Whose Legion is she going to be with?
Honestly, I think Finn should kill her in this one.
Isn't there a rumor that he's going to get like a Mandalorian armor or Boba Fett armor or some crap, or is that just a rumor that...
I've never heard that.
Okay.
That'd be weird. However, speaking of Mandalorian, I think they would be great villains for the next trilogy. Like another Mandalorian war kind of thing. If Kylo Ren is going to be like a pseudo good guy or something,
right?
He helps them fight them
instead of the First Order. They fight them. That would be great.
Because I personally think that the next trilogy should focus on a different type of villain other than a Sith or a Darksider or something like that. I think that they should be it should be the Mandalorians. I think that would be different. And then you have Rey, and if Luke's still alive, and even if he's not, as a Force Ghost, and a couple of new Jedi maybe that she's training or that they're training together.
I think well, I mean, I don't know if he'll die in 9, but I'm pretty sure he's going to make it to 9. I mean, I don't think he's going to die in this one. You think he's going to die in this one?
Originally, I thought he was, but I don't think so anymore.
Yeah, no, I don't think so, man. All right. We had a nice everything show. Thanks, bro. I appreciate it.
Thank you.
All right, guys. Take care. Bye for now.